Hello and welcome to Romance Writers Therapy, the podcast where we talk about publishing, writing, reading, and storytelling.
Those are definitely out of order.
And this is going well for me.
I was counting on you to be the one holding the brain cell tonight.
Oh man, we are not in good shape.
Oh, we're not.
Oh no. That's probably the worst intro I've ever done.
You know, it makes me feel better about my terrible intros, so I think it's good. I think it's fantastic.
Your intros do have character.
Character. My intros have happy little trees. Happy little mistakes.
That's right. That's right. Your intros are of the Bob Ross variety. Bob Rossian. I am already impressed with me right now. Mm-hmm. So let's have an intellectual conversation about romance, eh?
Oh my god, yeah.
And my family is the loudest family on the face of the earth. Like, you were talking about how the room that you're in is, like, not good for acoustics.
Yeah.
We're gonna, like, do, like, some sound deadening stuff at the wall that I'm, like, facing. But, like, my kid is up there yelling and screaming and jumping, and he's having a good old time. But, like, you can't tell a 2-year-old, like, hey, you have to keep it down. Mommy's recording. Like, it's just not the way life works.
Yeah. So. You can't talk because I have to be talking.
Exactly. Child. Be seen, not heard.
Oh, yeah. Go back to the Victorian methods of parenting.
Because it produced so many well-adjusted adults that we are still unpacking to this day. So, anyway, we usually talk about writing and not parenting or society. But...
yeah, or acoustics, I mean.
Or acoustics.
Oh, listener, you might notice... We sound amazing.
Really nice. Yeah. You can actually hear all of the lovely layers and texture to our voices. It's after Christmas now, and Kate and I both got microphones for Christmas.
It's almost like we coordinated it.
Okay, but like both of our like significant others did it independent of us asking for it because they're adorable. Also, Andrew made it out to my pen name from Santa, which I thought was so cute. Have you done any writing recently?
I wrote about 400 words 2 days ago. That I'm so proud of me for that.
Well, good job. I opened Banded Together and I started working on that first chapter.
Yeah.
And it took me like an hour to get, about 200 words down. I'm really proud of those 200 words, but that was painstaking.
When you say 200 words, do you mean like 200 words edited or like added or subtracted?
Edited.
Okay.
So it's even supposed to take less time than,
actually writing,
and that's just not the case in this situation. So
editing is a whole other beast.
I usually really like editing, but this is a total plot overhaul, and I'm taking it from present tense to past tense. So even like the segments that aren't being affected by the plot, if I'm going to include them, I still have to touch every single sentence to put it in the proper tense. And I'm just telling myself, like, it's okay, it's gonna take long, and it's gonna be like rewriting the whole book, and you could do that. You could just open up a whole new document and do that if you wanted to. I'm like, yeah, okay. Just trying to be really patient with myself.
It's definitely I think going from one tense to another is not usually part of, I don't want to say it's not usually part of the editing process, but it is definitely an overhaul.
Yeah. Well, and like with Just Fake Married, when I was writing the, what is it called? The first draft.
Mm-hmm.
I realized about a quarter of the way through, like, I don't want to write this in third person. It's really messing with my brain. And so I switched to first person, and that was just a quarter of it. But I've done edits on that quarter, and I sent it off to betas, and one of them was like, oh, hey, you switched. in this, didn't you? I'm like, oh yeah, I definitely missed a he or she somewhere. But she had really great feedback, and I'm really excited about like some of the suggestions she made. And we talked a bit more about like the books coming next in the series and stuff like that. So I'm excited. It's very cool.
Yeah. I think when I met you, you were starting Banded Together. Does that sound accurate? I think that's where you were when we first joined our little coven, romance writers.
I think I had like maybe 10,000 words written.
Okay.
At that point. So yeah, totally like at the very beginning stages. I'm like, I heard my neighbor drive up. There is something about the microphone in my face that's like making me like, be normal. Stop being so weird.
Yeah, I'm definitely trying not to like touch anything and make noises. And like my parents are watching a movie in the next room because you can hear them.
Oh.
And I'm like, ooh, is this a copyright issue we're gonna be having?
Oh no.
No, it's probably not. Imagine I can do some kind of reverb magic, editing magic. If I can't, it's because I'm not that magical.
Well, you're magical to me.
Also, I feel like we owe listener an explanation. I'm glad you could also hear the quality chewing noises.
We have a little ASMR in with our podcast.
Every time we do an episode, I am eating. It's important for a listener to know this.
What are you eating today?
My mom found in the freezer a box of mini tacos.
Oh.
And she just put them all in the oven. So that's what was for dinner.
So they're not even a quiet meal.
They're not really much of a quiet meal. I mean, they're kind of soft. They've gelled in their freezerdom.
I made a sausage tortellini soup.
Ooh.
And yeah, it was delicious and very simple and like just stock full of vegetables, which is always like my goal. And of course, neither of the children really ate it, but Andrew really liked it and I really liked it, and we had some crusty bread with it.
It sounds good.
Andrew, yeah, he opened up a bottle of red wine, right?
Ooh.
And he pours one for me and one for him. And then he's like, he sits down, he's like, oh crap, Ash, I didn't get you any milk. I'm like, he's had lots of milk. I have had no wine today. So you obviously put the right one of us like in front. You prioritized us correctly.
Well, this has been Wine Corner, listener. Not Wine Corner. This has been Dinner Corner with Marty B and Kate Breyer.
Have a lovely day. I know we sound great.
Find more recipes on our blog.
Find more recipes on our blog.
That's what we're writing, by the way.
A recipe blog.
So obviously, this is how Gwen Hayes' romancing applies to recipe blogs. You don't want to give them the recipe too soon, and so we're going to teach you how to properly pace that recipe.
Oh my gosh, it's like the heavens just came down. And like was like, Kate, here is this lovely segue. You can redeem this moment.
We had such plans to stay on topic.
We did. It was gonna be a hard 30.
It was.
Get in and out.
And then here we are, 10 minutes.
God.
We've wasted
so good at
20 minutes. That means...
Well, but I had to get used to the microphone staring me in the face. So...
We're gonna give it googly eyes.
I'm gonna need something because it is like it's right there in my face. So, But okay, so Kate and I are gonna continue our cute little series where we talk about Gwen Hayes' romancing the beat. And we already talked in length about
contemplating
the 4-act
talking
structure.
about it.
Yes, it was a really solid introduction to what we will be talking about.
Just the concept of talking about things.
But okay, so today we're going to talk to you about phase 1, which is the setup. Kate, do you want to tell us about the first beat? Like, first and second beat are really like the same.
Yeah, I wanted to talk about that. Like, so the first two beats are intro H1, intro H2, which H stands for hero or heroine. And so it is kind of just there to be gender neutral for whatever combination of couple you're going for.
Exactly, because it still applies to a poly situation as well.
Yeah, add as many H's as you need, I suppose.
Yeah. Just let us see what their life looks like. So you're introducing them, you're giving a slice of their life. We need to know why we're invested in these people.
Yeah.
right at the very beginning.
We also need to know who they are before they meet each other.
Because the emotional arc that they're going to go on is going to make changes to the way they interpret everything.
Exactly. They may undergo an entire change of character because of, this catalyst event of meeting someone.
It really just depends on how far your character needs to grow as well. Something I really appreciate about Gwen Hayes is how she identifies, like, the theme of romance is that love conquers all. And that's why that happily ever after is so important to the romance genre, which we'll talk more about in the end. But, how far does your character in the beginning have to go to the point where they believe that their love is achievable? That's what we're getting to know in the beginning.
Are you snapping? Are you
Yeah, my
snapping
dog
for
started-
yourself?
That was so insightful. Oh,
Applause!
applause, Kate. How are you even handling how smart I am right now?
Is it just Andrew in the background? He snaps whenever you say something good.
He is such my hype man.
Quiet hype.
My dog is down here. And he started, like, sounding like he was gonna bark, so I started snapping to try to stop him. And it worked, so...
Yeah, I had no idea he was even there.
Oh, he made a yip,
Aw.
and then I started snapping, so...
Also, I wanted to say about something I've struggled with when writing romance novels is giving them both a chapter of not having met each other. I feel like I have a hard time with, let's have an entire lengthy, moment, without the other guy or the other girl or,
I think
without anyone.
I think that really depends on, like, for one thing, do your characters know each other, right?
Yes.
Because I feel like particularly if you have characters that don't know each other, it's a lot easier to introduce them separately. But if they have history, then bringing them in and showing a slice of life of each of them and also their interactions with each other works really well still. So, like, Just Fake Married, the very first 2 chapters, they are together. Like, they are the only 2 characters in those first 2 chapters.
They're not dating together, but they're in the same space.
Exactly. But they're only interacting with each other.
Okay.
And banded together, Miles is still present in that first chapter from Cece's perspective and showing her slice of life.
Yeah.
And so I don't think it necessarily means that they have to be separate.
Yeah, they don't need to be isolated.
These things still have to be introduced, though.
Yeah.
Right? We still have to have their goals. We still have to have their needs hit in those first 2 chapters, even if they are the only 2 people on the page.
Yeah. And so, like, something we were talking about, I think, in the intro episode, it's been so long.
Oh God, it has been so long.
I know, it's been like 2 months.
Oh my God. Oh, that's right, because we
definitely did it in November at least.
Yeah, because then we did Cringemas and
yeah, the Cringemas
Secret Sauce.
We did a Secret Sauce episode.
That's what I named it because I'm so cute and clever.
Okay, you had not yet shared this cleverness with me.
Oh, it's on Kate. It's on the internets.
Okay. You don't listen to our own podcast?
I do.
I listen
think
to
we're
it when
so
we
funny.
edit it. Well, when I edit it. And
That
then
is true.
You listen to it for figuring out what the title is afterwards.
Exactly. So I listen to it to figure out what our title is and also our synopsis of it. And then I listen to it when it posts.
Oh, what? You're inflating the numbers artificially.
Oh my God, I'm a bot.
Oh my God. I don't know how our listeners can forgive you after such
Listener,
betrayal.
please forgive me. And quite frankly, my one listen is it's a good percentage for us.
Oh yeah,
right
it is
now.
inflating. I can't say inflating anymore.
hilarious.
It'll turn into something terrible.
It is an inflation.
No.
Okay, we should probably get back on task.
Okay, yeah, we were.
You want to tell me
gonna
about
be
the
on
meet
task.
cute?
We were gonna be so on task. All right, so
We were going to be so on task.
what was the thought that I had before we wandered down the rosy garden lane?
Giving them each their own chapter?
Yeah, there is a good example of really delaying seeing the other half of this pair. Tessa Dare, I know, I'm always referencing Tessa Dare.
Always Tessa Dare.
I'm sorry, I have
Our
a whole
patron
shelf
saint.
dedicated to her. She's like my favorite. I promise I do read other authors occasionally.
But not as much as you read her.
No.
And with not as much devotion.
No, not at all. With like an ounce of disdain for the fact that they're not Tessa Dare.
It's not a big disdain, just a little bit.
Just a tiny bit, a smidge for
just
flavor.
The smallest amount. For flavor. Okay, so tell me her good example.
Well, so When a Scott Ties a Knot, like arguably her best book.
I was waiting for that to be your example as well.
I hate you. God, will she ever shut up about this book? I'm not gonna read it.
I almost said it the same time you did. When a Scott Ties a Knot. But it is a really good example. You are absolutely correct.
It is like, to me, it is the quintessential romance novel. Because
it
hits its beats so fucking well. It's so well written.
It is, and it is just so clever and like adorable.
And it's still like got some really unique moments to it, like the lobsters.
It does.
This is such a, you won't get that anywhere else.
And like how the lobsters like
fall in love in the end too.
Aww, gosh darn it, that's just cute. That wasn't what I was gonna say, but I don't want to like spoil anything for listener who hasn't read When a Scott Ties a Knot, but they should, so they understand all of our references to it.
Well, okay, so I'm gonna spoil the beginning a little.
Oh, okay. But it's just the beginning.
Yeah. So the premise is Maddie writes, she pretends, she makes up a boyfriend.
Because
fiance.
she doesn't want to go to balls and stuff.
Yeah, she has social anxiety.
Society.
And she doesn't want to go. She doesn't want to leave the house. So she makes up a fiance and she's like, oh, I'm just going to write 1,000,000 letters to him. It's fine. He exists. You know, and she's just writing up letters. And so the first chapter is her writing letters and kind of explaining this premise of, I've made you up, Captain McWhimsy. And, you know, you get a real feel for her and you get part of the plot. And you kind of don't meet the hero for a couple of chapters. Because you get to see her kind of grow up over a couple of years through her letters. And then you see present day her.
Well, and then also like her family's response to like what they assume her emotional levels are.
Yeah.
About this engagement, and then she kills him off because.
Well, also the part where she inherits a castle. That's pretty important to the plot.
That's what I mean. Like her family's
they're like, you need somewhere to live with him. We're gonna give you a castle. And she's like, oh my god.
They give it to her after they find out that he is quote unquote dead, right?
No.
Because she's gonna need somewhere to live, isn't Oh, okay.
No. They give her
So they give it to him. No. That's right.
No. Also no.
And then there was a dog.
No! I've read this book so many times. You're getting all the details wrong. She inherits a castle because her godfather believes that her husband would love to live in his ancestral land after, you know, he comes back from the war. So he's like, well, I'll buy you a castle. Not I'll buy you. I'll give you one of my castles. And she inherits the castle, but then she's like, actually, my fiance died. So it's still my castle in my name. But the plot is when he comes back, he's going to marry her because he wants that castle.
Yeah. Because he needs someplace for his soldiers to
Well, that's a spoiler. You're not allowed to know.
Oh, is it?
Yes.
I feel like that's something we learn as soon as we're in his perspective.
It's kind of
Which is pretty early.
In the middle of the book, I would say. Because it's kind of her moment of realizing he's not doing this for selfish reasons.
Then I'll put a spoiler alert on the synopsis so that we...
This here, listener, has been a rereading of Tessa Dare's So Does Scott Ties a Knot. I don't know what you thought you were getting into with the title being about Gwen Hayes' romancing the beat.
Yeah, I don't know why you would assume that we'd actually tell you information and like thoughts about romancing the beats.
I don't know why you thought we would stay on task, quite frankly. You should be ashamed of yourself, listener.
Yes, exactly. So a meet cute.
Okay, yeah. Well, that was, I just wanted to wrap up the H1, H2
yeah. Okay.
intro on one of your character's parts. I think if you really use it to bake the plot into the premises and, really entrench everything, get the ball rolling.
Because Gwen Hayes does also say, and if you haven't read this book, you absolutely should. It's Gwen Hayes' Romancing the Beats.
We've said that like 6 times.
Well, I just want to make sure credit is given where credit's due.
It's gonna be in the show notes. It's gonna be in the title. We talked about it last week. They don't know what book we're talking about by now.
The beat. She also talks about how you can move these beats around.
Yes.
But a lot of them build on each other. So, for instance, if you're doing like an enemies to lovers, you might choose to put the meet cute at the beginning and have it like, be a disruptive meeting.
Yeah, just be like the worst event ever.
Exactly. And then do the introduction of the H1, H2. So, really move these how you need them, spend time where you need them. But there was another author I heard an interview with, and I wish I could remember her name right now. But she was like, when you hit these beats, stomp on them. Yeah. And, like, that's the really important thing, is, like, really make them land.
The thing is, you did talk about this last episode.
Dang it, I thought so.
And you named her.
Did I? Well, congratulations, me. Listener, you already know who it is. You'll have to tell me.
We're the ones who need to, like, take a pop quiz at the end of this.
Oh, God. We're such experts.
Such experts. We know so much.
So much.
We're not stumbling through this blindly at all.
No, they don't get that impression one little bit.
No, not at all.
And like, I don't know, it's like anything else. Like the more you do it, the better you get at it, And so, yeah, you stumble a bit until it's like, oh, that's what a no way is. Which is
the no way beat is after the meet cute. We spend like one more minute on meet cute mayhap.
I don't know, look it up, listener. We don't have to tell you anything.
The outline is right in front of you. At least so I thought it was. Cute. You said it would be.
What, that the meet cute's in front of me?
No, that the outline is in front of you.
Oh, it is in front of me. Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
I told them to look up meet cute.
Okay. So meet cute is obviously when the two meet. I think the best explanation of a meet cute that I've ever had is definitely in that movie, The Holiday, which itself is fantastic in just terms of romance plotting.
I am the only person that doesn't like that movie.
Really? Wow.
I'm the only person on earth.
I'm the
only one.
Is in there, and he's
Jack
so
Black,
cute.
Jack Black saved that viewing experience. Everything else could disappear, and Jack Black would have been such a better movie. Just even Kate Winslet that had like moments where I'm like, no, dude, no. But yeah, Jack Black totally saved that movie. Okay. But okay, tell me the explanation of meet cute.
It's that moment where the old man is explaining what a meet cute is to the Kate Winslet character, and because he's like old Hollywood guy, so he explains it as a man and a woman don't know each other. They both go to a store, and it's late at night. And the store's about to close, and they're both staying in like a nearby hotel. There's only one pair of pajamas left, and he says to the clerk, "I just need he says I just need pants." I'm sorry, and the woman says, "I just need a shirt." And that's the moment they look at each other and they realize they kind of both have something the other needs, but they also there's gonna have to be some give and take and some bargaining between them to kind of figure out what they're gonna need from each other.
But there's a level of like completion.
Yeah.
For like each other.
They each have something that the other, it's going to complete each other, but it's also something that they have to bargain to get to, but it's also, this is part of the plot that's going to tie them together, which is kind of
that later. That is really cute.
Yeah. And it's possible that I totally butchered that explanation.
I mean, I thought it was adorable.
I mean, it's been so long since I saw that movie.
And I saw it once, like 12 years ago.
We used to rewatch it like once a month here. This is also the household that rewatched the 2005 Pride and Prejudice so often that the one scene where Keira Knightley is laying on her bed and she's blowing out this candle very softly, and it takes forever to blow out the candle. She's just kind of playing with the flame, like watching it flicker. Part burned an after image into the television we had at the time. So there was always this discolored spot on anything else you would watch.
I love that movie so much, though. I love
Not as much as my dad, clearly.
Clearly.
I read a tweet to him today. I think it was Ash Dillon said something like the CDC recommends it's okay to accept a proposal from Mr. Collins, and I said that to my dad, and my dad started laughing like this is the funniest thing he's ever heard. He loves a Mr. Collins joke.
So should we go on with the no way?
Yeah, I really thought we would have finished this by now, but here we are.
I mean, everyone did. Everyone did.
Everyone did. When we said tight 30, clearly we meant 40 minutes.
Absolutely. We have to start saying tight 20. That's what we have to do.
I don't know if we could manage that.
Oh God, it would be the most hopeful thing. So we have our no way one.
Yeah, the no way is the rejection beat. They both have to kind of say, no, not you, anyone but you.
Or no love at all.
Yeah.
I don't do the love. The love can GTFO.
So it's this push back, push away from each other. And it is, Gwen recommends, she goes into this terminology of hers, which is awkward to say out loud, because it sounds like I'm saying the same thing twice. Wholehearted and wholehearted. Whole, like there's a hole in your heart, and wholehearted, like your heart is complete. Oh, yes. This is going to be weird on a podcast.
It's weird in the audiobook too.
I hadn't even thought of that.
So like whole with an H or whole with a WH.
Let's tweak that. So like let's say empty-hearted and full-hearted or something. I don't know.
Empty-hearted and complete-hearted?
Yeah, something just to make them different. So her thing is when you have a hole in your heart, it's because you have like the character has a hole in their heart, not you, the listener. You could be as
maybe you do
broken-hearted as you want to be.
Your love. Okay. We don't tell you how to live your life.
Do what you
want.
But
if you...
Except when we're telling you what to do.
Do you guys have Delilah over there? Delilah.
Oh, yeah. Is she everywhere?
Yes, I think she is. I love Delilah.
Oh, wow. You've succeeded in bringing the Midwest everywhere.
Which is all I've ever wanted. Midwest does exist. It should be everywhere. But yeah, I just had a moment where I felt like I was like going to like do one of her, if you're out there and you're feeling alone, this song's for you. And then it's gonna be like Selena.
You don't think a Celine Dion would work well there? Nice and soulful, little that tiny pin flute.
I mean, It's All Coming Back to Me Now would be a really good one there.
Okay, I couldn't think of like the second note that
you're here.
Listen, I've heard
we're
like
getting back into plagiarism issues, dude.
Yeah, okay. Back on task. On task.
Back on task. God, we're so good. Okay, so the no way beat.
No. Wait, yes, we're on that. Okay.
And the wholehearted.
Yes. So what she recommends is having whatever reason that the character A is not going to date character B, and they have to have a reason, which is like going to be either I'm not dating anyone, or I'm working on myself, or I don't date guys with mullets. I'm not going to date that guy because I hate him. Whatever it is.
Mm-hmm. Whatever it is.
She gives reasons like all men cheat, so I'm not going to date a man again. And, like, it's whatever your character's damage is. And that's something they're going to carry with them through the most of the book. That's going to be part of their entire emotional arc. It's going to be the reason that they keep coming back to that they can't be in this relationship.
Yes. It's always the push away.
Yes.
And then that foreshadows the beats to come.
Yeah. I think she talks about giving both characters some kind of damage like this, whatever their baggage is. I think you definitely can have just one character with this kind of emotional baggage.
Yeah.
And the other one.
I wish I could come up.
Yeah, I have no
that's
idea.
Like in it from the very beginning. I wish I could come up with an example of that working, but I can't right now.
Oh, I'm just saying, you can do what you want. If you only want to really give one character a big dark secret like that, or some big thing that makes them unable to love or receive love or whatever, go for it. Go all in on that. But like, personally, I like to give them both reservations, but maybe one of them, those reservations are a lot stronger.
Just whatever you do, create tension.
Yeah.
Right? So if it's only one character that's putting up the roadblock, then you have to make it very justifiable to the reader. Well, our final beat that we're going to talk about today is our adhesion beat.
I struggle with this one the most, I think.
You know what? I think I like my adhesion beats, right? So this is like, typically, if you have external plot happening as well, this is what will thrust them together. In like fake relationships, it's the fake relationship. That's the adhesion, right? So now
it's the decision of them both going, all right, we need to do this because of our current circumstances, which probably have been established by now.
Some good examples. In Well Met, it's the preparation of the Renaissance Festival, right?
It's the, oh man, I feel like it's been a minute since I read Well Met.
I feel like it's that they are both involved in the Renaissance Festival because she wasn't going to be involved, and then she is. And he is like a coordinator, so he's always going to be, he's so hands-on about it.
Yeah,
right?
It's his fair. He sets it up in, like, I think the memory of his brother or something.
Yeah, he does. Yeah.
I think, though, I would say that the adhesion plot thrust beat then comes first, because I think it's pretty much the opening of the book. She has to drive her niece to high school and volunteers to become a counselor for this thing. Not a counselor, but a chaperone or whatever.
A participant, a chaperone, yeah.
Yeah, and then that means she then she realizes that's more than she signed up for. But, like, I think that just goes to show that you can stack these beats in any order, but you have to have a good reason why you're doing
for putting them where they're at. The Widow of Rose House, the adhesion beat, happens pretty late in that first quarter, right? Like, it really takes a long time to get to the point where they are committed to the same goal.
Do we have any more thoughts? I feel like we've come to the end of our thinking ability.
I think we have. Are we really gonna
end on after this? God, I started listening to this other podcast, Bitches Get Riches, which...
Okay, you've told me about this.
I think I've told you a little bit about them. They're like a financial advising, career advising podcast.
Yeah.
They're really cool. I love them. But at the end of every episode, they go, "Are we cool with that?" And that just kind of ends abruptly. And I'm like, wow, so that's it. Like, they do 20-minute episodes. And I'm like, how do they do this?
Dude.
I was going to say, are we cool with this? Is that a wrap? No, of course it's not. We have to keep talking.
Yeah, of course, because neither of us have a good, like, are we cool with that? We don't have a goodbye.
Yeah, I'm
just gonna go into our outro.
Oh,
like,
okay.
This is a perfect segue.
I don't think it's perfect.
I mean, it's not.
Well, so, like, this, like, to wrap up this first quarter of the book.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Are they quarters or are they fifths? I can't remember.
They're quarters. It's a 4-act.
Yeah, okay. This first quarter of the book, the setup. She recommends, I think, that you can have a chapter for each beat. You can also accomplish each beat within a chapter.
Multiple within a chapter.
Or you could take several chapters to accomplish a beat.
Well, and then also it depends on how long your piece is. So if you're writing novella, if you're writing a short story, you still want to hit these beats, but you want to do it in a tight amount of time. So
yeah.
You know, you might have beats that just happen simultaneously.
Exactly. And I think even though we're saying, like, oh, you can do all this with, like, you can order these however you like, you can spend how much ever time you like on them. I do want to touch on, I think we're just saying that these aren't hard and fast rules, that this is a structure, but it doesn't need to be such a hard structure. These aren't necessarily hard rules, but I think you should still pay attention to, like, pacing and how long you're taking to get to everything. If you're spending too much time on something, you may need to have to cut that in one of your editing rounds.
Well, and there's always the rule of, like, every scene should accomplish at least one thing.
Yeah.
But they want it to really accomplish more than one thing. Meaning you are hitting at least one plot in a scene, like plot point, and hopefully hitting...
Or an emotional beat.
Yeah, absolutely. Or an emotional beat. But just keep your pace moving. And, like, that's something I really like about these beats is it keeps me from writing the things that I love to write, which is
that doesn't sound great. That's what I love about this book. It stops me from writing the things I want to write. That's not a good sell.
Okay, but hear me out. Because before reading this, like, I definitely had issues with my pacing where there was always like a near kiss. There was a near moment of something actually happening and then it wouldn't, because it's the tension that happens between characters that I write naturally on my own. So since reading this, it's given me a really great guidance, and you can totally use this to, you know, plot out your book, or like I do, where, you know, you just follow down the line, or however you might see yourself needing to move things around. But yeah, just hit those beats and subvert it however you want, really. But like the one thing that like you really can't subvert and call it romance is the happily ever after, right? It is like the one thing that will change it from being a romance to not being a romance.
Which is topical because we recently changed
God,
from
it's
being
always-
a just a writer therapy podcast to romance writers therapy, because we realized we're both romance writers and that's kind of our focus. And even though that's been our focus this whole time, we thought maybe we should be more upfront about that.
Yeah.
Not for like, just because we were like, well, maybe some people will be like, I'm listening for writing thoughts and all they're talking about is romance.
Which, you know what? I think that there's still a lot to like get for any, like, whatever you write.
Yeah, no, exactly. But like, if you're here specifically for like, I don't know,
If you're here
sci-fi
specifically
tips,
for, yeah,
or
that's
genre, like for us to cover the broader spectrum of genres,
or
not gonna
fiction
get
and
there.
like just yeah. If you're here for romance, we're here for you. We're here for everybody, but we're also here for romance.
Up front first.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, Kate,
Is that all our thoughts? Have we emptied our heads?
I mean, never, but like,
Never.
do they really have to hear the rest of the rambling?
Oh yeah, that's all I got.
Okay. I mean, I'm sure that there's things, like, if you think of anything that you want to add, we'll just
My
ramble
brain
in the
cell
next
is
episode.
on 1%.
Dude, the one I got is like, she's not loving me right now.
Oh no.
So this has been Romance Writers Therapy with Kate Pryor and Marty V. You can find Kate at by Kate Pryor on Instagram and Twitter.
I thought for a moment you were pausing so I could say it. I was like, do I say it?
Do it.
And Marty V is at Marty V author.
Yep.
Most everywhere.
Well, at TikTok and Instagram.
And Twitter.
And yeah, I think I am on Twitter as well. I might be author Marty V on Twitter. I don't think so. I'm
One of
on the
those.
places. Yeah.
We're everywhere.
Again, I mean, you know what? We started out strong.
We started out strong and I interrupted you because I was like, I have a thought and I need to say it.
This is why we get off topic, but this is also why I love us. So.
I'm not sure if that's why anyone else loves us.
I mean, I don't think so. Even my mom's like, it's great when you guys are really talking about what you're talking about.
It's really great when you guys focus.
When you guys are, it's very informative sometimes. Sometimes it's very informative.
I think I've left that review on a book before.
Oh, that's hilarious.
This is a book I was mad about reading. It's like, it's not informative all the time.
Oh, that's so funny. Okay, well, listener, we love you. We adore you. And we appreciate you sticking through our not tight 30 at all. So
See, it might change when it gets back to editing, but right now it's at 47.
yeah, I hope it does come down quite a bit. So,
I can usually get it into the 30-minute range.
you do a great job. I don't know how you accomplish such things.
I cut out every time we say, yeah,
Good for
you know, and every time you go, right. Whenever you say right, I have to cut out like 10 seconds.
Is it because it's silent afterwards?
Because you go right, and there's like 2 beats, and then I go, yeah. And then you go, exactly. And then you go back to what you were talking about. And I'm always like, do I leave the yeah in? Should I break up your train of thought with me punctuating a yeah every few seconds?
Well, I need positive affirmation in order to trust any of my beliefs. So, all right, I'm gonna stop recording now.
All right, me too. Bye, listener.
All right. Bye, listener. We love you. Bye.
Happy New Year, listener. Actually, we don't know when we're gonna post this.
I mean, it's definitely gonna be after the New Year. God, this is why we're at 48 minutes.
Romance Writers writer's therapy. We teach you how to plot.
Find us
but
at the
clearly
places.
we didn't
and
plot.
We are not plotters.
We're pantsers.
So,
At least when it comes to this podcast.
I mean, I am in my writing